This is Dr. David Allen coming to you on the television program, People Helping People. We're talking about the court-ordered adolescent program. And it's amazing how Dr. Denie, who started this program, and now Ms. Andrews, the tutor, how they're saying the personal attention makes the kid vulnerable to learning. And that makes me question, why can't we do this on a wider level in our society?
It can be done. We just have
young guys charged with murder, 16, 17. What went wrong? How could we have, what you're saying, your program is stopping that, right?
You know, we've had a number of kids in our program over the 10, 11 year span. We had a number of kids, and we were just discussing it the other day. We were not able to reach all of them. There was a few of them that went to prison, but not in the program, after the program.
Can you tell whether a kid is headed for prison or not?
Sometimes,
after all these years in this work?
Sometimes.
What do you look for to help you realize that kid is headed for trouble?
Yeah, sometimes the kids that I say in the Genesis, I said, we have some kids that are very difficult. When they come to us that difficult, there's nothing we could say to them. There's no love we can show them. It's almost as if their hearts are already cold. And their behavior, they're very spiteful. Sometimes, Dr. Allen, in the love I have for them, I open the door and I say to them, please leave. And not for good, for the day, please leave. Because
how do they react?
They would get up and walk out. And then they would come back. And one such kid, he came back, he said, Miss Denie, you really solid. I said, what does that mean? Am I big and fat? And he goes, no, you're very firm. And all I said was, thank you. We have to be like that, because when they come in with this attitude that ain't nothing you could do for me, ain't nothing you could tell me, ain't nothing you could say to me, I've already made up my mind. We've had a couple of kids like that. But in the last, since COVID until today, the kids that we've gotten have all gotten out of the program to date, and they're all doing something, something positive.
Wow.
So can it be done? Yeah, it could be done. Can we stop them? I don't know so much that we can, but I think if we try to make an impression on their little young minds, maybe something about it will stick. I had a kid that said to me, they want to give me a gun, you know.
They want what?
They want to give me a gun.
Wait, that happens in the gang.
Yeah, they want to give me a gun.
The kid is groomed for a while, and then they're given a gun.
Yeah, and I'm like.
And he said, they want to give me a gun.
And obviously.
And you said what?
I told him, I said, come and see me in the office. Because that's not something we'll discuss at group level. We won't do that. So I pulled him out. We went in the office, and he said, yeah, they want to give me a gun. And they want me to hurt someone. And I said, I need you to think about that. So we had a good conversation, private stuff. And I didn't see him for a minute. Then he came back, and I called him into the office. I said, how's everything? He said, I couldn't do it. Why couldn't you do it? He said, because what you said to me that day made sense.
That's serious.
We just have to stop long enough and talk with them and have that conversation, and see, that's what we do. We do more than just the one-on-ones, because the one-on-ones is where we get the information, is where we get all of the information from the assessments. All right, and so what we do, they walk in through our door, they're really maladaptive. To the core, they're maladaptive. So what we do with them is we try to change that. We use a CBT method. Talk to them. Talk therapy is the best therapy. Now, if their scores are really too high in the assessment, then we do a referral. we send them over to CCAC.
What's CCAC?
The Commonwealth Assessment Center on Collins Avenue. And they will take it from there. We have not, thankfully, lost any of our kids in the program, or I shouldn't say lost them. We want that particular organization that send them to Sandilands. But they needed the extra help. And if they're suicidal, because we do have kids that come in and they're suicidal, and once I notice it, and the scores are all relatively high, and I realize it's not something I can talk down, we send them to CCAC.
Right. So, Ms. Andrews, you're saying any kid could learn?
Yes, any kid, any child can learn.
But that doesn't show up in society. Some kids are streamlined, they just can't make it. And you're saying any kid,
Yes.
give you any kid, you can teach them.
I can teach them. It's all about applying their self. One of the other
But
exercises,
suppose they don't want to apply themselves. What do you do then?
I take time. And in
Time?
yes, if I have a child, which I've had,
Because you're pretty stern too, right?
come inside, yeah. and this is something you have to.
Two years stern. I don't know. As a kid, I'd be scared of you.
You should be.
Yeah, but this is something, believe it or not, this is something that the children look for. They respect that.
Respect what?
They respect when they see you strong in leadership.
Yeah.
For some reason, this makes them feel as if, okay, she cares.
Yeah.
She is determined.
That's it.
I'm going to learn. I did an essay. I had them do an essay a couple, 2 months ago. And
Were they willing to write it?
They were willing to write it. Because the question
What was the
topic? The question was, what do you think about school? And do you feel as if that it is being forced on you?
Wow.
And I've had close to 70% that felt that way. But you know what their other answers was? Because they say it was felt on because they didn't feel as if they were getting what they needed. For some reason, we weren't getting. And they said
weren't getting
what they needed.
So that's why they didn't respond.
They didn't respond.
They have to feel they're getting what they needed.
What they needed.
So you have to make them feel this is something you need.
They need.
Now, how do you do that?
And so what I do, again, I take whatever we learn and I show them in exercise and in communication how it applies to their life and what they're going to be dealing with when they finish school. And even right now, because one of the other things that I had shared with Dr. Denie is that the ones who are graduating, I sit down and I trained and do a little interviews with them, show them how to complete applications to go there and get jobs. This is something, we thank God for all of the schools, but if we can do this with more of our youths, we will have a better society.
And are they responsive to that?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's almost like they have this, okay, this is this void that I was missing out of it. And they just gravitate to it.
They do.
Amazing.
They do.
It's really a blessing to see these children. And when I'm thinking back now, we're going to the summer part of it.
Yeah.
And I look from January and I see transformation.
Yes.
And it just blessed my heart. And just to piggyback on what Dr. Denie has said, I speak to them every time as if they are my own children. I speak to them and I said, and I tell them, you can do it. And I keep pushing them a little bit more. And mind you now, they do pull back and, oh, this is too much. I said, you can do it.
Yeah.
And they do it. Very, very important. They have to know that you are not going to give up on them.
Right.
And they feel that and know that you care.
And Denie, parents are under a lot of stress. Housing's difficult, the money ain't right, the prices are very high. The parents can't cope sometimes, Denie. So that means the kid can't cope, right?
Yes, exactly.
If the parents can't cope, does it mean the kid can't cope? And if so, what do you do to change that?
One
You
of the
can't change the
things-
parents, I guess you can. But if the
Well, you
parents
try.
can't, you try. But if the parents can't cope,
It trickles into the home.
so how do you deal with
It
that?
trickles into the home. So we've been doing the parent program for some time now. The parent program has actually been running just as long as the adolescent.
Are the parents responsive?
Not always. What we see in the program is we see a lot of mothers we don't see fathers.
Why is that? Why is that?
I'm still trying to figure that one out because
So mothers would come,
mothers would
and
definitely.
if you call the father, what does he say?
Yeah, he's always busy.
Say what?
He's busy. He's always busy.
He's always
And,
busy. Doing what?
I would prefer to answer that off air, but
That's the problem then.
it is a
The
problem.
dads don't come, but the mothers come.
The mothers did it. Now we
God
do.
bless the
listen,
mothers.
we've got an uncle who is filling in for his sister who is deceased, but she has a son in our program, and he comes and he saw the program and he brought his daughter. His daughter is there with us every week, but uncle is there every week. The only time we didn't see uncle was when he lost his mom the other day. So we was able to talk to him. He is there contributing. He's there for his nephew and his daughter. We don't get to see it. Every now and again, you would have a daddy pop up, which is not always, but we've got a room full of women. But one of the things you recognize, women understand that they're life givers.
Women are what?
Life givers.
And men are life takers?
Moving right
We
along.
would
Women, we see ourselves as life givers. We're incubators for these children. We carry them, we nurture them. And for the 9 months we carry them, we don't rest them down. We carry them here, we hold them here. So
But even when a
we-
woman is being abused, so facing the abuse of poverty and unable to make ends meet, doesn't that change the life-giving ability?
It does. It changes it. But we still have strong-willed mothers who realize I must do everything I can. We have a mother who had a stroke.
A what? A stroke?
She climbs those stairs because she
God
wants her
bless her.
son to become a better person.
Beautiful.
And because of her consistency in attending, and we do topics in the parenting group just as we do them in adolescent. So what we talk to the children about, we talk to them about. So that they can now go home and have a conversation. And so the other day we talked about the most recent murder where the father was murdered on the island. And I left it open for the kids. I left it open. What do you think that problem was? And the stories I heard. And we piggybacked on that in the group with the parents. And the parents were saying pretty much the same thing the children were saying. And then I knew right away, parents and children are talking.
Wow.
Because the children responded, but the parents came with pretty much the same responses on their day. So I realized there's conversations going on. So when we get them to that point, we get mothers to understand it might be hard. See, and I have to go back to the Bible, and I don't apologize. When we realize things are hard, but if we trust God,
Amen.
He will help us to get over and get through. One of my friends always say to me, listen, if God bring you to it, He'll take you through it. It's phenomenal. It may look bad now because the children
If
are
God brings you to it,
He can take you through
He can
it.
take you through it.
And so while it looks bad because the children are young, it gets better because they get older.
Yes.
And not all of them go down the road to destruction, you know. Some of them remember the kindness that was shown to them. And what they do with that is they turn it around. I have a guy that wants to buy trucks, wants to start off with 1 or 2 big trucks. And he wanted to have a trucking company because as a younger boy, when his dad was around, his dad did trucking. And he saw how it put a couple of slices of bread on the table, and that's why he wanted to do it. You know what I said to him? Good job. Now keep your record clean. Don't drive dirty, get your driver's license, and go after your dream. I don't stop them if those dreams are positive.
Beautiful.
Because all they need is a believer.
Yes.
That's it. If they get a believer, Dr. Allen and Miss Dedrie, if they get a believer, if they find a believer in us, we might only be 3 individuals, but we could change a nation, one child at a time.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Now, Ms. Dedrie and Dr. Denie, these kids have experienced a lot of losses.
They have.
Some of their friends have been killed, murdered. Some attempted suicide. How do they deal with loss in your programs? Can a kid learn when he's lost a kid, or a fellow kid? Can a kid come to your program and how does he go on? How does he deal with that grief? Can they grieve?
They can, but they don't. And that sounds
So when they lose a friend, they can't
probably
cry?
like an oxymoron. They don't.
They don't
won't.
cry?
One of the things we've been doing of late, particularly when we see the 21-year-olds being murdered or the 16-year-olds being murdered, we stop whatever we're doing, whatever plans I have, we stop and we talk about that. And here is the one thing they say, I don't feel anything. That speaks
Wait,
to
they don't feel anything.
It
So
speaks to
so why do they
desensitization.
need that defense? The block off their feelings to a friend who was killed or murdered. Why do you need that defense? I
Because
don't
they
feel anything.
They don't want to hurt. They don't want to hurt. And so if I become desensitized, what it does is it puts distance between me and that pain. And I'm able to move on.
Now, how do you deal with that?
Well, we just keep talking about it. We keep talking about it. Not in a, I have to beat you up kind of way. We will just continue talking about it, continue talking until sometimes before the session is over, they be like, I understand that. And I should grieve. I understand it.
Now, can a grieving child who's lost a friend to murder, can they still learn?
Yes, I do think they can still learn, because in regards to what, Dr. Denie has said, they dislocate their self from it. And so what they do, they push their self in another direction, because
How do they do that?
they
Sandra?
push themselves, okay, because I'm not going to think about that, so now I'm going to push myself towards that. I've even had a session when I spoke with them and I brought up a topic, suicide or death. And 1 or 2 of the response was, they stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't let that happen to me. And I even had a young lady even all said to me, when I saw that, I ain't giving up no more. I can do better. So it's like pushes them in another direction. So when you see that, at that point, you need to capitalize on that. And you need to go and you need to take advantage of that and pull more of her or him and implant more positiveness inside of them. See, because this reading and math, it helps them to open up a whole new level within their self that I believe that a lot of them has just shut out. But now...
So you're saying the kids, like, they have rooms that are closed up. And when you teach them maths and English, those rooms open up
They open
and
up.
lights go on?
And lights go on. Oh, this is another...
But why didn't the rooms open before they met you or Denie? Why?
Basically because they didn't have anybody to do it. And sometimes the teachers...
They have mothers, they have teachers, but why don't the rooms light up and open up?
Sometimes, as mothers, we don't have the time.
That's correct.
Again, to the teachers, because they have the classroom that's overpopulated. They can't do what they need to do in a one-on-one.
So you're saying a lot of teaching today in our country is really mental health issues. And the mental health quotient, when that goes up, it's hard for the teaching to be done.
Yeah.
They can teach, but they're not picking it up.
And the kids are not gonna...
So why don't we be honest and say, okay, this is not working here, let's do something else.
Well,
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, but it takes a strong-willed person to recognize it and say it.
Because what you're saying with the loss around them, the crime, the murders, I mean, and then it's hard in a big class doing Elizabeth in English.
It's hard. It's hard, and I sympathize with
So when
the
they come to a
teachers.
small little unit like yours and you can spend time with them, now you get a very human connection.
Right.
Yes.
But it's hard to get that in a bigger class.
That is
Now,
correct.
does this mean you have to watch how big your program grows?
You should.
Follow my question?
You should.
Does it mean you have to watch now how big your program grows?
Yes,
Because what you're telling me,
absolutely.
size makes a difference.
Yes,
You both have said
It
that.
matters.
So what's the optimum size for you as a tutor?
The most I would think, so everybody can be effective and really get what they need, is about no more than 14 students.
Good stuff.
That's still pushing it.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, but 14 students.
And you teach that 14 in a group, or you go one-to-one?
We always do group settings, but that still enables me to go and touch bases with each one of them within that period of time, because it's something about touching them in that way.
What do you mean
coming
by-
on.
what do you mean by
when I say
touching them?
touching them, they literally is looking for you to come and say, "There's anything else I can help you with?"
Yes.
Is something here that you do not understand, and they're looking up. And oh yes, and that also too, before you can even get to them, they're raising their hand.
Yes.
Ms. Andrews, can you help me?
But don't you get frustrated when they don't cooperate or they don't get it?
No, I don't. I can't afford to, because as I spoke to them and I say to them, they got to succeed. And I say it again, what you said. When they fail, I fail.
Yeah.
And that can't happen. I look at them so individually. This is somebody who's going to add to this Bahamas nation. They have so much. And if I can empower and put into them, I believe that they can help somebody else, a younger person. So it has to move forward. I have to.
But you
know the
understand,
truth.
you don't get tired? You don't get fed up and angry and I can't take this anymore. It's hot now.
No.
No.
The heat is.
No.
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 I don't feel like going in that room today. I just don't want to go there.
No. No.
No.
I mean, aren't you human?
No. You're human, but that child, that young
But this is
lady,
frustrating, you know.
It could be frustrating, Dr. Allen. My thing is,
In fact, some people say, dog man, leave them alone.
yeah, no, we can't do that.
No,
when
can't.
we look, maybe it's because we're looking at the end result. And because we're looking at the end result, not today, not tomorrow. They're like 15, well, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. We've got a couple of them that's 18.
Yes.
So what we're doing is we're looking down the road into the future. So if we plant a seed today, in a couple of years, we're going to get something from that.
Yes, we will.
And so we just have to always be on the cutting edge of where they are. We have to learn their language.
But how do you keep your spirits up? Because I know it's very exciting what you're saying, but I also know it's very frustrating. How do you both keep your spirits up?
Only God. It's God. I can't say nothing else. I mean, it's God. And I constantly, before I even get prepared, and before when I'm preparing, because I prepare for their classes from Sunday afternoon, I'm starting to prepare for what I'm going to deal with them. And I ask God for His wisdom, His revelation and knowledge. I said, God, give it to me so I can know how to deal with each and every student, because they're all unique, designed in their own way. So if you don't ask for that,
But you know, some Bahamians believe these kids are hopeless, you know.
But they're not.
They would say,
They
they said, Doc,
Yeah.
look
They're
man,
not.
you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
Some Bahamians believe that, Dr. Denie.
Yeah. They do, but the kids are not.
no, they don't.
And you tell me you don't get a little frustrated sometime,
We
man.
get frustrated because we're human.
You know, yuck up your vexation sometime.
Yeah, they do all of that.
And what happens when they yuck up your vexation?
I pull them to me, not yank. I take them by the hand and I said, come with me. And I pull them in the office and what's going on with you today? You are not here. Would you like some time? Would you like to go home? You need to get it together. Because that level of energy, you cannot take that away.
So you have to be always a safe place.
I have to
Yes.
always be
Absolutely.
a safe.
But isn't that a strain on you, Denie? I mean, you're getting younger, I know. But that must be a strain.
It's
To have to be a safe place for people all the time.
Yes.
It's not. You know when it becomes a strain, and I'm going to just put this out there, it becomes a strain when the things we need to function, we don't have. But that's another show. But outside of that, when they come there, My day don't start when the kids come in. My day don't and won't start when I get to the office. My day starts at home at 3 a.m.
Wait, now, what you doing up at 3 a.m.? You don't sleep, eh? I thought you had a husband. Anyway, what about 3 a.m.?
At 3 a.m.
What does that mean, 3 a.m.?
I get up and I command my day through prayer.
Yes.
And the
You
word.
what? You get up and you command your day?
Yes.
How does one command your day?
You command your day. You set it up. You say to God, this is what I need to see.
Yes.
I need to know
And
that
God hears you?
Well, he does. And
Some
he
people
listens.
sleepy at 3 a.m. and they try and they fall right back to sleep.
There's some other people who are doing some other things too.
Yes,
And it's
my
not
Lord.
it's not conducive to our
Now tell me,
everyday life.
why is 3 a.m. important?
For me, it's that moment when everybody in my house is asleep. It's quiet. Nothing's moving. I get to sit in my little private place and talk with God. Tell him what
Seems
I
like you're in a convent then, a little monastery, a little convent.
No. I just sit there and tell him, this is what I need to see. He said in his word, command me and see if I won't do it.
Amen.
That's the word. And so I sit there and I tell God, I need to make the difference in the life of just one child today.
Absolutely.
Just one. And if I could do that every time we meet, then I'm making changes. Are we seeing changes? Yes, we are.
Yes.
We're seeing fantastic
But sometimes people
changes.
say their prayers don't get answered. So you can pray like that, Ms. Andrews and Denie, but don't sometimes the answer
Listen,
doesn't come.
there's always an answer,
Say,
Dr. Allen.
yes.
Sometimes God would say yes, sometimes he'd say no, sometimes he'd
He
say
said,
wait.
I
And
am,
they're
I am.
all answers.
Yes.
So to say
But
he's-
waiting is a hard answer sometimes.
Waiting is hard.
When you want an answer.
but out of waiting come patience.
Yes.
So while I wait, I develop patience. I develop patience. How do you think I learned to deal with you?
I'm so easy, Denie.
No, you're not.
My mother said I was so nice.
No, she just said that because you're a child. But here we are, and I want to encourage people,
Yes.
who, even if your kids are not court ordered, if they're displaying any kind of behavior, find us on East Street and Sands Lane,
Yes.
right above the crisis center. We're there. We have caring people, along with Pastor Stuart Kelly out of Grace Gospel. Listen, fantastic young man. With the kids love him so much until his car in the evening becomes the family bus. Oh,
That's beautiful, eh?
Yes.
God bless
God
Pastor
bless
Stuart.
his car. And so
God bless him.
I can't sit here and not give him credit because
Yes.
he does the work that I cannot get to do. He's out there. He's out there.
Beautiful.
He will go to the schools. He will.
Well, the Lord provides these men for you. The other one was Mark.
Yes.
We can't have our program without talking about. Tell the people about Mark
my God.
Beckford.
Oh my God.
Who was Mark Beckford and why was he so important in your life?
Mr. Beckford was so important to this group. The work that he did, the passion that he did it with, the knowledge that he brought to the group. He used to be a gang member. So when he
Horror
came,
gang and Yellow Elder, he was the head.
he was there. He said to me, bless his soul, because he has gone home to reap his reward. He said to me, I was responsible for the guns in the gang. I said, well, did you ever shoot anyone? Not me. I'm not shooting nobody. Did you ever do drugs? And he was like, I always saw my body as a temple. So I wouldn't do drugs. But I hang out in the gang because it was that support. It was. And then he taught me about the setup and the way the gangs are set up. That's for another place and another time. But Mark was the backbone of this. He wrote a program that we're working on now. He wrote the program for our adolescents that we're dealing with even till today. His strength, his no-nonsense character, his ability to... Mark started the summer basketball camp that we had every summer. And that attracted 100 young men.
Wow.
Now, Denie, I know you're godly, and so is Dedrie. Mark was so special to all of us. I mean, I tried to start this, and Mark came beside me and said, Doc, you don't have a clue what you're doing. Why would God take a young man like that who was going to change the Bahamas home?
I'll say this. When our work on earth is done, and when we would have gone as far as we could go. See, the beauty of Mr. Beckford was nobody killed him. He died. So
He talked to you pretty late that night before he
we
died.
did. We talked.
What did y'all talk
We
about?
talked about a particular young man that was in the group. And his mother was really fed up with him. And earlier, or the day before, Beck said to them, he said to the mummy, don't throw your son away. Give him to me. I'd get him in a school for you.
He said what?
He tell her, don't throw him away.
Give him to me.
Give him to me. I'll get him in
What
a
a
school.
Christ figure.
Wow.
So why would God take him away from us when we needed him so
We
bad?
might have needed him, but God needed him more.
Okay, all right.
God needed him more. He needed a mark in his God.
So you're saying in this kind of work, you have to realize that God has the upper hand.
Oh, he does. And what we do is, we don't do it without God.
Amen.
He has to be the focal point. Or we would find ourselves
So you don't
tired.
apologize for the God or spiritual element of this program.
I
No.
will never,
Not
ever,
ever. I
ever,
can't.
never apologize
Never.
for the God in the program.
Yes.
Because without him, there'd be no me. I don't know about Miss Dedrie, but I'm alive
Yes.
today because of the God that I serve.
Yes. There is no way that I would have been able to do what I'm doing if God wasn't first and foremost in my life. Because he is the one that gives me instruction on what to do for these youths. He is the one.
And as far as Mr. Beckford is concerned, like I said, when God sees us getting that tired, you know, Mark had seizures. And when we get that tired, we go from labor to reward. And I would love to believe it in my heart, based on how Mr. Beckford lived and the love that he gave. I believe he went to his reward. But he left a rich legacy. When he showed up, at that time when it was Mr. Beckford and myself, we had 43 kids.
Wow.
43. Not all of them were court-ordered, you know. They met Mark somewhere and followed him. And he would bring them all to the group. We had kids that did not know how to read or write or hardly speak. And he would bring them into the group. We would find them help. We had a kid that the other kids made fun of because of his inability. We didn't see that. We saw it as a challenge for us to do something about it.
Yes, yes,
And today he is employed. When he got his first job application, we got him a private tutor.
Wow.
Oh, we got him a private
Yes,
tutor.
yes.
And when he got his first job application and he was able to fill it out before he sent it, he came to the office with it and he was all screams. We thought he got the
Wow.
job. And he said, no, I can read.
Oh, wow. Beautiful.
And
what?
I can read. And he showed us the application. We did nothing to the application, but he got the job.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
See, that's what we want to do with the kids. We want them to come to us broken. We want them to come to us messed up. We want the kids that society says, there's no hope for this child. But when they come into our program, we have a model in place. We do our assessments. We set programs catered around what they're experiencing. We have kids that are experiencing grief. And here's the thing. Most people believe grief only comes when we lose someone we love. It don't only speak to when we bury someone. Grief can come to us being in a broken home. we go through the same things. Grief comes to us through mommy losing a job. The kids feel that. Grief comes when daddy decides, I don't want to be here anymore. He goes. And so most parents would not send their kids to grief counseling. And it baffles me a lot of times. Then there are the kids who lose loved ones through there. Still, we have to get it when they come to the program. Mind you, sometimes the courts send them and say, well, this child has behavioral issues. We go all the way back because we try to figure out what's causing it. And then we'll see that my best friend was murdered in the front of me. And nobody sought to get help for this child. The child does not have behavioral issues. The child needs to know what to do with all this grief
In his heart.
that's bottled up inside.
Yes.
So I'd like to think that, you know, we're the organization that's going to make a difference in this nation by the way we love them,
Yes.
by the way we treat them. She's the upstairs mommy and I'm the downstairs
Yes,
mommy.
Do you all get discouraged? You're only human, but do you get
Yes.
discouraged? I just can't do this anymore.
Dr. Allen, I don't have a choice. I cannot afford to be discouraged because all of these youths are depending on me. So whatever I may be feeling in any sense, you know, at any time, any type of thing that may come, I have to put that aside and put myself second because they come first. They have to always come first.
And that's not saying that we don't have personal challenges.
Yes.
We do. And I would think all of my challenges, I've got them. I've got plenty. Yesterday, but Saturday, I think, made my mom 9 months like yours.
Yes.
I have to deal with that.
I don't think they heard what you said.
Yeah. So
Saturday meant what?
9 months.
Since what?
Since my mom passed away. And in a couple of days, yours, eh?
Yes.
Would
in a
be
couple
9
days,
months.
Would be 9 months.
What I do with that is I have to leave that at home to come to work, to be present.
Yes.
And it's not easy.
That must be hard. That must be hard.
It's hard, but we have our own challenges we go through. We have our own personal situations we go through. But we look at what we do as ministry,
Yes.
and it's almost as if
absolutely.
we get tired and we say to God, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. It's like giving up on what God placed in our hands. Because He's placed it in your hand, we are now responsible for doing something with it. And I'd like to think this is a strong team.
Beautiful.
Yes.
With the both of us. I do the therapeutic side, and she do the educational side.
Beautiful. We're going to take a break and be right back.